Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you have not already subscribed it, please do subscribe it. This video we are going to talk about the validation activity within Azure Data Factory. Now, validation activity could be used for various reasons in the production workloads. What exactly a validation activity would do is to validate something before you actually want another activity to be executed. And we could use this validation activity with datasets. Primarily, it has three properties: dataset, timeout, and sleep. Now, dataset is technically on which the validation you want to kind of make sure it gets through. And then the timeout is another property. It could be specified in minutes, seconds, hours, and days. If we specify, let's say 12 hours, so it means till 12 hours it is going to be valid, and then afterwards that is going to time out, so it is not going to run it. And then sleep is another property of the validation activity, where we could actually specify in seconds how much time interval do we require to retry the same thing within the timeout period. So if I've specified for, let's say, 1 day 24 hours, and I've specified 1 hour as the sleep, so it means after every 1 hour this activity would be carried around. So let's see this validation activity in action and how we could use it in the real world scenario. In the last video, we actually copied a blob from one container to another. Now, what we can do is we could actually use this validation activity to make sure whether the file is available out there before actually we move this file from the source to the destination. So stay tuned and let's actually delve into the practical stuff. So friends, as we have covered this in the last video also, in our storage we have two containers. One is the import, and it has a department Oracle CSV file. And if we go back, the output container is just an empty container, and we actually created a data movement activity or a pipeline to copy that particular file from the import to the output. Now what we could do here is, so let's say if we go back to the RKV, my data factory instance. So this was the copy data activity. Now I could actually use in the case of the journal. So if you see journal, or even you could search out over here, that is validation. So you could click on this validation activity out here. Now you could attach this on success. You just want to attach this activity. Once this is completed, you want this to move around. And on the validation activity, you could specify the name, validate the file, let's say, and in the settings property. So now what we could do is we could specify the Azure storage DPT. This is the actual one from where the source data set is coming. And the timeout property is by default 12 hours, and the sleep is 10 seconds. So I'm just going to use 10 seconds or 5 seconds based upon how much frequency you want to carry around. So let's say we'll just do it with 5 seconds. So that's where we have set it, and this is the maximum is 12 hours. And the minimum size, if you just want to specify kind of if there is a file, because this is a file, so you could also specify the size of the file, which it would ensure to validate whether the size is, let's say, 1 MB or let's say 2000 bytes or whatever, right? So that's one thing which you could actually set it around. Now once it is done, so let's say you would actually, now if I would say the file is not present out here, so let's say we'll go back to the storage containers, we'll go to the import, and I'm just gonna download this. Let's say I'll download it, it gets into there. I'm just gonna remove this, and I'll just delete this particular blob. And once I go over here, I'll actually debug this to make sure it runs. So once I debug that and I actually run it, so it starts running, and it would actually see if the file is available or not. If the file is not there, so yes, it doesn't really check for that particular file and does the retry after a number of times. So we are validating that particular data process. Now it is run, it is actually running, and nothing is gonna be copied around. So if the file is there, it would actually start copying, but if it is not there, it won't actually do anything out there. Now let's wait for that stuff. It's actually doing that. In progress, validate the file. Okay, now what we'll do is we'll actually upload the oh, okay, let's see, refresh it. Okay, validate the file is still there. So now let's upload it. So we'll upload that, browse the file, and in the downloads, uh, let's use that file out here, which was on the this one, dpt oracle csv. I open this, upload it. Okay, I'll go back into this place and refresh this. So yes, it's particularly succeeded because it was able to get that file after every 10 seconds it was able to do. And now let's see whether it was able to copy that particular file or not. So let's try, see if it is still running. In progress. Yes, so both are succeeded. So let's try verifying it. Let's go back to the blob and go back to the storage containers, the output, and yes, there is a file out there which was there and it was copied out. So I hope guys, this way it's a small but simple activity by which you could actually make sure there's a kind of a validation for you want to kind of run it for a particular time with certain interval, and even you could specify the size for that particular data set. I'll be back with some more videos, guys. So if you like it, please do comment it, like it, and please do subscribe the channel. And wherever you are, stay safe and have a good one.